Alright, welcome everybody to BBL Season 8, Week 2, as I am playing with the Atlanta Royals tonight. We are facing off against the Baltimore Bombers, coached by Repub, who put up about 20 runs in opening week. Makes them an opponent to be feared for sure. They probably won't put as many runs at Sandy Flats, but I definitely have my work cut out for me in this match. Royals last week started off by losing the overall matchup 3-2 against Marco's Wombats, in a game that was characterized by a very small amount of offense on both sides. Royals' already troubled hitting was made worse due to some bad hitting with my top hitters and a bad day for one of my fastest players. We'll see if we can do a bit better this game. Sandy Flats won't make that easy for us, though. As far as the predictions for this game, in the Predictor Challenge, this is another very lopsided one in prediction results, as has been the case with almost all of my games so far. In this case, the predictors are overwhelmingly against me for this one. 14 people picked the Bombers to win versus only 2 for the Royals. Jared Johnson and Silver Bullet are the only ones brave enough to pick my team to win. Jared actually marked it as well as his upset of the week, which is an interesting choice to be sure. And 2 different people, myself and Ace, have locked the Bombers to win this game. Higher stakes for that. And in one of the bonus prediction categories for which matchup will have the smallest margin of victory, Marco picked this one. So, yeah, some of these picks I'm not so sure about, but that's the way people have chosen to pick for this one. I myself am going to predict that the Bombers will win this overall matchup because Repub is quite good. He is a better player than me, I think, and he has a better team than me. Royals are very low on offense, as we have already seen. And, and I was going to say something else, but I forgot what. That's right. I took a glance at the Bombers defense before this game, and I don't see any notable weaknesses in it. So this is a solid team by Repub. I think I will not score more than a couple of runs. Repub will score a good handful and win without too much trouble. We'll see. Repub has already played, so at the end of this stream, we will find out one way or the other. So with that, let us dive into the game. I have not checked my good and bad days ahead of time for my Royals games. It's not as high pressure for me. And we get off to a fantastic omen for our start as the game crashes as soon as I try to check the good and bad days. Please hold. I will need to restart my computer before I play next week's games. Alright, Julie Dunkel does not have a crippling bad day, which is a Scotty Roth hammered for a bad day for the 2nd week in a row. This time, though, he only is down some in hitting. He can run at full speed, which is important. Keisha's normal, Wings normal, Molly's normal, Vincent, Chad, ooh, and this could be interesting. Chucky Flinder boosted to 10 hitting, as well as small boosts in running and fielding. That could all be contact, and we won't see much from him on offense, but we might see Chucky Flinder just casually smacking some balls out of the park here. We'll see. Should be a good big game for Chucky. Between that batting boost and his normal pitching, I will be a bit disappointed if he doesn't end up as player of the game. And Lena is having a normal day. Alright, some shuffles on defense. Scotty moves to 2nd in my normal spot for him for this season. Only reason I had him moved over to 3rd was because he was having a bad day and slowed down. In the first game, everyone else I think is pretty much fine with there. I'll move Julie to center, had her in left because we were at the paveway last week. Wing is good enough for left field for normal games. Choosing to have slow Vincent in right, bit of a risk, but I think it's worth it because shortstop is more likely to be a more impactful position for the player game, for the player side, I think. Lineup is mostly normal. Julie to lead off as our all-around best hitter, followed by Wing to try to get on base. Chucky to see what he can do, and as a good spot for power-ups, and now with the hitting boost, yeah, I'm pretty happy with him being there still. Then Molly to try to clear the bases, and Keisha as a other best overall hitter to start off the bottom of the lineup. Our one change here is we put Scotty Roth next to try to just get on base, followed by do I want to bet? Yeah. Followed by Lena as the best overall hitter, left, and then Vincent and Chad. I'm actually going to do a switcheroo here, but Vincent after Scotty to try to advance Keisha and or Scotty on the base pass and then lean it to actually knock them in. We'll see if that works out or not. As for the Bombers, if David Marion left, Courtney Valentino in center does have a bad day in running, so that's going to be potentially quite handy. Arlene Perez in right, Sally Dobbs, Gary Allen, Vic Souffle, Perry Marks, Melissa Waters, Maynard McElroy. Good catcher for this team. They do have 2 members of the Season 7 championship-winning Junior Athletics in Courtney and Sally. And overall, there's not any big holes in this defense. Arlene in right isn't great, but how many balls am I going to be hitting to right field? Probably not many. Gary at second also isn't great, but I think Vic and Sally will mostly make up for him. And if I'm able to tire out Melissa early, then that could be bad news for the Bombers as well. Perry at third. So this isn't the strongest defense ever. There's potential weak spots, but overall, I don't know, especially with Vic at short and Sally at center and Davey and Courtney in the outfield and a good catcher, it might be hard for me to accomplish much in this game. We shall see, but enough talk. It is time to dive in and keep talking as well, so much for that being enough talk. Chucky Flinder got his bid at a second Ace Wilson Trophy off to a good start last week, pitching a 2-hit shutout with 10 strikeouts. He's hoping to accomplish similar things tonight. And shouldn't have too hard of a time starting it out against the low-hitting Vic Souffle. He had a good day, an opening week as an AI, but strikes out on 3 pitches here. Just popping it up to Vic might end up happening a lot with this team. We'll see. Davey Marion, next up, probably with Courtney's bad day, is the best overall hitter on this team, and we are not getting the 0-run season this year. Davey smacks the first pitch he sees, a corner hook over the fence, 245 feet for solo home run. Bombers strike early, 1-0. Not great, especially when you're specifically aiming for the Ace Wilson Trophy. A single earned run, a single run allowed is not good news at all. We'll see. He gave up something like 8 runs, I think, in his earlier Ace winning season, so I'm not completely out of it yet. But in any case, Gary Allen, he's a hitter. A bat, but not much else, but at Sandy, that alone could be pretty dangerous, but he just watches 3 pitches go by for a second strikeout. 2 down, Sally Dobbs up to bat. The AI Bombers lineup is messed with some here because of Courtney's bad day. I assume she would have batted by now. Normally. And Sally pops one up between third and the pitcher's mound. Molly gets out of the way, and Chucky is able to catch it for the third out. So 1 run on 1 hit for the Bombers in the first. Not a good sign ever for the Royals to see, as strapped for scoring ability as we are. Going into the bottom of the first, 1-0. Julie Dunkel looking to lead us off with something beautiful. Went 1 for 3 in opening week, but that one was a home run that batted in both of our runs for that game. Fouls went off, and we'll swap to line drive. Well, boy, Vic at third. I can't. Perry Marks is the second baseman, and I can't remember how good his arm is. In any case, Julie just hits one into the ground, takes Maynard long enough to grab and throw it, that she is able to make it to base safely. That's the nice thing about having a super fast player on your team. Wing Quan now up, and we will try some grounder ball today. Melissa is pretty slow, and this being Sandy will make it take even longer for her to get to the ball if I place it well. That's not what I was looking for exactly, but it might be enough. Wing running his high route, and the throw's just slow enough. He makes it in. Single. We have runners on first and second now. Chucky Flinder, the hitter. And wouldn't be the most promising situation maybe in a normal game, just because he wouldn't be hitting the ball much of anywhere, but this is 10 hit in Chucky Flinder, and he puts that boost to use by hitting one into the ground up the first base line. Even his running boost can't, and a healthy amount of rushing can't get him to base on time. Sacrifice ground out by Chucky does advance both Julie and Wing, though, so runners on second and third with just one out. Molly May the hitter, Keisha Phillips on deck. With any luck, we're scoring a run or two here. My two biggest bats outside of Julie coming up. Outside for ball 2, 2-0 the count. If Melissa just walks Molly, I'll be a little annoyed. Molly fouls one off. This is my second season ever with Molly May. I played with her in season 6 as well, where she was a solid power hitter, if not as reliable in general as Fabian Callahan was. Swings early for strike 2, making it a full count. That was all on me there. And taking that one, it is low for ball 4. I could have swung at that one, but that probably would have been a strikeout. Instead, one more runner on base, and most likely to be out would be Molly at second anyway. If anything, she's a useful distraction to get those runs across. In any case, it's now bases loaded. Just one out. Keisha Phillips up. Can we see a grand slam? I don't know. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. It looks good, but nope. Hit into the ground once more. Not making good contact so far. The throw is indeed to second to get Molly May out, but Melissa just flubs it and tosses it to third instead. Everybody is safe. I should have maybe sent Wing towards home. I don't know. In any case, we are making the most of these dinky grounders here. It's now 1-1 on an RBI grounder single by Keisha Phillips. Low for ball 1. If we can draw another walk here with Scotty, that would be ideal to safely advance Molly. Ooh, that one was another low pitch, but that one was called a strike. 1 and 2, I'd better pay close attention. Fouled off. Still 1 and 2. Melissa almost at 20 pitches already, and she does not have great stamina, so not a great sign for her. And another little grounder. Hoping and hoping they just go for the play at third. They do. Molly is out, but everybody else is safe. Fielder's choice with another RBI as Wing comes across the plate. It's now 2-1 Royals. And I wish I was batting Lena 7th instead of Vincent. Oh well, what you gonna do? Vincent's sweet to hitter. Of everybody on my team, I have the least idea of how well he hits. I think he's a bit better of a guy to have up than Chad. But how good is that? I'm not sure. Almost a nice hit into right. I don't know, maybe that would have been an out anyway. In any case, it goes just foul. 0-2 the count. And fouls one off. That was dangerously outside. I'm a bit surprised I made contact. And pop-up, that is getting past Perry. Running for it is Scotty. Everyone's going to be safe. He throws early towards third, and that leaves the door wide open for Keisha to score. RBI single for Vincent Sweet. It's now 3-1 Melonheads. All right. We have already outscored our total in week 1, and it's only the first inning. Lena Ang, the hitter now. I'm gonna take power and hope for a meatball that she can destroy. Think that's the best hope here. Not that. We are not gonna swing at that. We'll see. Before, when I had Lena on my team, I had much better results with line drive than with power, but with runners on first and second, I don't know. Fouls enough to keep the at-bat alive, still 1-2. Yep, the Bombers' infield has proven much less formidable than the Wombats. Unfortunately, that is where this inning comes to an end, as we have a line drive a bit too far. Lands, but too close to Davy Marion. Easy out at second. So 3 runs still in the first by the Royals. I am pleasurably surprised by how successful we were. 3-1 after 1 inning. Might not have a lot of offense on this Royals team, but what we do have, we are exploiting for all it is worth. Maynard is out, which brings up Courtney Valentino, who still, I believe, is at full strength in hitting, down to just 7 running, so still potentially a formidable hitter, or player on offense in general. Keisha runs in for it, as does Julie, but not great vision there. Neither is able to figure out where it is in time, so it is a single for Courtney. Bringing up Arlene Perez. I luck into a potential double play setup. We'll pitch this one slightly meatier. And she'll probably strike out, because that's usually what happens when I get this sort of setup. Nope. Instead, I found a different way to regret what I did. Turns out okay. Line out to Wing Kwan. Courtney is able to tag up successfully. 2 outs. No double play. And Perry Marks is a hitter. I feel like this Bombers team is, on the whole, bigger on bats, getting big hits than small ball. Or grounder ball, which will serve them much better at Sandy. And Perry watches strike 3 go by, Chucky's 3rd strikeout on the game, and we shut down the Bombers with no issues. No runs given up, so going into the bottom of the 2nd, it's currently 3-1. Chad Capel, my number 9 hitter leading off for the Royals. He has 60-something power and 1 contact. I haven't really figured out any way to make that a reliably useful hitter yet. Although he did have 1 of my 3 hits in opening week and scored 1 of my 2 runs, so he can get hits occasionally, but I haven't figured out any way yet, again, to make him consistently produce. Meanwhile, Melissa threw almost 30 pitches in the 1st inning, probably getting decently tired out already. Again, Hudson who Melissa's a clone of, has pretty garbage stamina on the mound. I don't expect her to be much of an asset on defense for the rest of the game. When she gets swapped out, that's where things get really interesting. And sharp line drive by Chad. There is no one there to cover that. That's going to be another single for him. Nice hit there. Perry does not, in fact, have a great arm. So, yeah. This Bombers team is a case of a squad that looked intimidating to me at first glance, but as I have gone through this game, has gotten less and less so. Julie Dunkel now up. Single last inning. We're going power swing with a slow runner on first. If we could just bat him in with a nice home run, that would be ideal. Strike on a nasty corner pitch. Somewhat questionable call. And it's 1-1 the count, soon to be 2-1 on an extraordinarily low pitch. Melissa is having a lot of trouble here on the mound. I think her replacement is imminent. First, though, Julie swats one deep into left center. Not that deep, though. Courtney is there. She's under it. Caught. For the first out. A disappointing result, to be sure. That's a problem I've had. And I had it the season I had her clone, Henri Deschênes, and now it comes in with Julie Dunkel. Is just that their bats are too likely to have just heavily popped flies, if you get what I mean. And I'm trying to focus on the game and on what I'm saying at the same time, which isn't helping me get my point across. But their bats are good for hitting fly balls that have a bit too much pop, that linger in the air for too long and are thus too easy to catch, is what I found. So that's the issue I've had with them, and it certainly came up here. I also probably shouldn't have swung at that pitch with power swing, so that's on me. Maynard's arm is good enough to rule out Wing stealing second. I would feel a bit too exploited if I took advantage of that. And so now there's 2 outs, only 1 on, looking to be a more Royals typical 2nd inning. Meanwhile, Sally Dobbs came on the mound to pitch, which is not good news for me, honestly. She's a big upgrade in defense on the mound from Melissa, and Melissa gets safely stowed away at first, where we'll see. It might be bad in close plays, on ground balls where they're trying to beat it out. But on the whole, I feel like that's going to be not a place where she'll do much damage to the Bombers' defense. Meanwhile, Chucky's boost to 10 batting does seem to be mostly contact. It's a moderate line drive up the middle, and with Sally on the mound, it's easy third out, so... Quiet second inning, still 3-1 after 2. Okay. My feeling with the steal was that it was pretty questionable if I should have tried it to begin with, because I was pretty sure that there was no way, without the AI messing up, it would have been good. It's not officially against the rules to steal in those situations, but I feel like outside of once at the start of the game, to establish that it isn't feasible, if you keep doing it just hoping for them to mess up, that's kind of against the spirit of the rules. That's my take, and so then getting the free base off of that after the throwback to first wouldn't have felt right. It didn't matter in any case, and meanwhile, Flay hits a tiny pop. Chucky not getting a lot of strikeouts at the moment, but he is retiring the Bombers efficiently, which is good, and they're not getting their stamina refunded, so there is that. Davy Marion with another smack, but this one is not close to over the fence. I clicked to try to get her to run a bit closer in, only makes Scotty run out into the outfield instead for whatever reason, but in any case, the positioning was good. Julie catches it on the one hop, and so Davy is held to a single. Could still be dangerous with Gary Allen up to bat, but he just hits a pop-up instead. Should be an easy out, and it is. Chucky does not have enough time to bonk into Lena and mess it up. Once again, one hit for the Bombers, but no runs. Going into the bottom of the third, it's 3-1. Royals are going to try to get the scoring back up again. With Sally on the mound, it's going to be hard. Molly May leading off in the bottom of the third, has yet to record a hit this season. Did get a walk earlier, though. Swing and a miss for strike 2 on a pitch that looked nicer than it actually was. And I thought that was going to be just outside, so I took it, but nope. Called strike 3, Molly May, caught looking. Down on strikes. My thought process, literally, as that pitch started coming in, was... At first I thought that looked like a good one to hit, and then I realized, no, this is probably one of those deceptive ones that keep getting me to swing at them when I shouldn't. So I thought that, and I took it, and it turns out I should have swung. Keisha Phillips is up, having gotten a single in her previous at-bat. Takes the first 2 strikes on corner pitches. Sally so far doing an excellent job on the mound. Really would have liked more Melissa instead. Takes ball 1. I'll have to get through Sally if I want to be able to damage his defense much more. Ball 2, it's 2-2. And Keisha makes contact on 1, no fielders right there. Going into the gap, and will be a pretty easy single. Not more than that, though. And that brings up Scotty Roth. 1 for 1, he got his first hit of the season. Last at bat. I think it technically was a fielder's choice, but whatever. It's good enough. Takes ball 1. Inside. Looking for a nice grounder down the third base line where it will take Sally long enough to get to it. Instead, that's not helpful. Maynard waiting for Sally to get the first to throw it there. She is able to catch the throw, though. A lesser fielder would have had that bounce off the back of her head, and everyone would be safe. Oh well. So Scotty hits a nothing ball and is appropriately the second out. Vincent Sweet now up. With 2 outs and needing probably 2 more hits to score, looking like it's going to be another quiet inning for the Royals. We'll see, though. Maybe he can get on base and Lena can do something wonderful. Fouls him off. 0-2 the count. Again, Vincent is a player I haven't really figured out yet much about how he works at the plate, or how much of a chance I have at accomplishing something useful with him. The 4 batting, 5 running certainly doesn't speak to a lot of promise, though. But he got the hit last at bat, so we'll see. Continuing to foul it off, and then hits a dinky ball. Maynard's going to be fielding that one, and that'll be the 3rd out. Keisha goes, but it doesn't matter. Royals once again shut out, and we're going into the 4th inning, still 3-1. And my chances of pulling out the unlikely upset are looking much, much lower than they were at the end of the 1st. Sally Dobbs leading off for the Bombers. Never a fun player to have in the batting box against you. Could easily enough take any pitch and smack it out of the park if she gets the right contact on it. She will foul off more than she will hit out, but an ever-present danger regardless. And I aimed that at the lower inside corner. It went to the upper inside corner. I'm not sure what's up with that, but in any case, taken for strike 2. Ball 2 as that heat goes slightly low. This at bat continues to get drawn out as I'm really painting the corners here. Sally fouls one off to prolong the misery. Always dangerous in my opinion, especially to throw heats to power hitters, but with Chucky only having 2 pitches, I don't feel like there's much choice. In any case, he does successfully strike Sally out. That's Chucky's 4th strikeout on the game. There is 1 out, and the biggest danger is past. Maynard McElroy now the hitter, although he could do plenty of damage himself if allowed to get on the base paths. Take strike 1. Take strike 2. Is he going to actually swing? We'll find out. Looking for a beautiful left hook 3rd strike. He does swing at this one, puts it in play. Not very well, though. Chucky gets a bit distracted, but does manage to make it to the site in time to make the catch. 2 outs. Courtney Valentino, another hitter, so she could do some damage too. Not out of the woods yet, and she did in fact single in her first at bat. Having a bad day, but not completely useless for sure. This time, though, just hits a grounder right to the left of the pitcher's mound. Easy enough out. Bombers held to no hits for the first time this game. And we are in the bottom of the 4th. Lena Ang leading off. It's going to be Lena and Chad trying to set things up for hopefully Dunkel to hit a nice multi-run home run. I swing too early. We get another nothing ball. Maynard is patient enough fielding it, and Sally is once again able to catch the ball thrown at the back of her head. First out. Having a lot of those nothing balls here, and that certainly is not helpful. Started out nice with better hits for the situation and a better defense, or worse defense as the case may be. But had been struggling, but a nice hit opposite direction for Chad. I'll say, Chad struggled a lot in practice, preseason scrimmage games, but he has been delivering so far in the real season. Single, I do believe Chad currently is tied with Keisha for the most hits on the season. Julie Dunkel now looking to join them. 1 for 2, and I meant to stand closed, but doesn't matter too much. Hits a nice one into the outfield. That'll be a single, it looks like, unfortunately only. But we'll see. Chad going for another base as Courtney flubs the throw. Vic is able to handle it, though. It's caught in the rundown. Fortunately, it's the rundown between Perry and Gary. Not the best arms there. Not too hard to get safely back to second. Still, he'll probably be out in this next at-bat with Wing Kwan the hitter. Wing is not exactly full of power, but we'll see. Managed to get the right sort of hit up towards right field. He might make it in time. Hits one that way, it lands. Melissa's going for it, but is still super tired out. Wing is safe, Julie is safe, and Chad is safe. Very nice. Wing does hit the ball to the perfect position. Melissa going to first comes in handy, as if Sally was there, that would have been at least an out, quite possibly a double play. Bases are loaded with 1 out. Chucky Flinder and his boosted hitting are up. Hits a sharp line drive this time. Bounces, Vic taking a minute to get to it. Will it be enough? Yes, because Gary's at second. He can't throw the ball anywhere in time. Wing is out at second, but everyone else is safe. Royals score, it's 4-1. On a sack hit by Chucky Flinder. Again, that's pretty unimpressive for 10 hitting, but I will take another run. Molly May now up if she can get a good hit. Her first really big hit all season, then we will be sitting pretty. Was wondering if Maynard might throw it somewhere beside second with a runner on third. He did not. Chucky is forced to retreat. Maybe I could have gone for home with Julie there, actually. But that would have been cheesing since Chucky retreated, so never mind. And nope. Julie hits a nothing ball. Maynard is going to feel that easily enough. Melissa does catch it. The hitting on this team, not on point. Molly May in particular has not gotten a single good hit so far, despite being supposedly one of my top 3 power hitters. And that has limited our production, certainly, and never more so far than in that inning. Still, one more run. It's now 4-1 Royals going into the 5th. We only need one more run in the bottom of the inning to activate the multiplier. And that'll feel pretty good, if nothing else. Chucky strikes out Arlene Perez on 3 pitches. Only his 5th strikeout of the game. Not the most dominant performance on the mound in that regard, but whatever. First out. Prairie marks as a hitter. Chucky sitting pretty. Not the highest on stamina right now, but he does have a juice box in store. And Perry smacks one. Managed to catch one into the very lower inside corner, and that is the 2nd home run for the Bombers this game, which is not helpful to say the least. Not helpful for much of anything. It's now 4-2. And that sucks. Alright, the good news is the game, I guess, feels sorry for me after that one and gives me Melissa Waters to pitch to. She at least will not pose much of a threat at the plate. And Melissa does indeed strike out on 3 pitches. Chucky's 6th strikeout of the game. Still, with giving up 2 runs in one game, that does feel awfully bad for his 8th Wilson Chapter, since this is only the 2nd game of the season. Especially with the new anti-strikeout bias that'll undoubtedly be in play in the league with the stamina revelation. You just can't give up very many runs and remain in Ace Wilson contention. In any case, Vic at least won't be hitting a random home run off of me. That would have felt very bad if he had just then proceeded to do just that. And he does make it to first, though, as he hit it far enough up the line. Lena threw it too hard to compensate for being late to it. Chad couldn't handle it. And now Davey Marion's up. If he hits a home run here, then that is going to mega suck. Not a home run, thank goodness. Keisha running for it, but she was shifted over to second base. Can't get it in time, but just barely makes the throw in second. Wing with a very nice throw to second to just barely get Vic out. And we are out of the inning. It was threatening to get even uglier, but we're okay. Going into the bottom of the inning, Royals hoping to get a couple more runs on the board here. We'll see. Keisha Phillips leading off, 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Another hit here would put her in sole possession of the distinction of most hits for the team in the season so far. Hits a line drive, gets past Melissa, but Gary's got it. Throw is just barely late by the closest of margins. If Gary was a bit faster or had a bit better of an arm, she would have been out, but just barely makes it to base. Alright, good start. Scotty now up. 1 for 2. Going for the weak grounder down the third base line. Last time, his grounder was too weak and ended up being a super easy out. I'm actually going to move to line drive for that reason, because he has a bad day in hitting, so even a full-strength line drive might only make it halfway up the third base line. Sally is not being helpful here, exclusively pitching to the opposite side of the strike zone. Not giving me any to hit up the third base line. Nobody there right away, but it is an easy enough play for Maynard. Keisha does make it to second, which is good, but there is now 1 out, which obviously is not good. Still, we'll get a chance for Lena to hit, and if she gets a solid hit, she can knock Keisha in. Vincent also with a single on the game, so could definitely contribute here. Nice liner, but straight to Perry. perfectly placed to be the quick second out. Lena Ang up once again for me, having a slow start to the season. No hits so far. She has potential to be one of the best players on offense on this team. Let's see if it can manifest a good hit down the line. Keisha going for home. Arlene has a better arm than I realized, but it's going through Melissa. She can't handle it. Even if she could, it might not have been in time. But Keisha scores. We activate the multiplier. It's now 5-2 Royals. Inning continues a little longer. Nice clutch hit there by Lena, getting her first hit right when it counted. Now it's just Molly, I believe, on the team with no hits. Chad looking to bang another one to the right. Swung a bit early, I think, and the pitch was a bit outside. Fouls it off. 0-1. Chad with 3 hits on the season so far. Has been exceeding expectations. 0-2 the count, though. Never a fun count to have. Outside for ball 1. Sally almost at 40 pitches now. She has been doing an overall pretty good job on the mound, but has given up 2 runs, and I think all the pitches are starting to take their toll on her. Chad barely fouls one off, keeping the inning alive for now. 1-2. And yet another foul. Continues to be 1-2. Chad, the pseudo-clone of Sally Dobbs. Sally with less power, essentially, at the plate. Ooh. That one sounded nice, it looked nice, but it was just a bit foul. If that was fair, it might have been a log shot, which would have been amazing. 0 outside the park home runs so far for this team. Of course, their first game was at Payway, which didn't help that. And Chad continuing the eternal train of fouls. I believe that is his 5th in a row. I'm doing JBA proud. Finally hits one fair. That's a lanky shot towards center. Gary is there. He can't make the play. Courtney's got it. Throws it to second. Just barely in time. I thought we were there. I stopped rushing with Lena so I wouldn't accidentally turn her around. Should have rushed just a bit more, and we would have had Julie Dunkel up to bat. Ah. Rough way to go. Should have clicked a couple more times. I've accidentally turned kids around that way, though, and I didn't want that to happen again. Also, no, never mind. So, that's rough. Some regret there. See, it gets more stressful and regretful when I start to actually perform decently well. I scored 5 runs with this team this game. That was more than I expected, kind of. Gave better expectations. Meanwhile, Gary is safe on another error by Chad at first. Sally Dobbs now up. Looking to avoid having any more runs scored against me. We do have a potential double play situation here, though I wouldn't get any power from it at this point. Chucky has had 0 opportunities to swing with a power-up swing so far this season. Painting the corners with Sally and racking up multiple balls as a result. Sally swings and misses at strike 2. Just need one more and we'll be okay. Come on. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Outside. It is a full count on Sally Dobbs. I'm painting the corners more than usual. And it costs me. That is the first walk I have given up unintentionally in I don't know how long. Chucky multiplies his career total under my coaching by infinity. Almost never walk a hitter, but the Bombers with those random home runs have spooked me enough this game that I was painting the corners a lot, and Chucky was not able to pitch accurately enough to get it done. Maynard then, pitching a bit into him, looking for a weak hit in the maybe double play to take some pressure off. He hits it well instead. Keisha almost throws that one out of play, but Chad barely absorbs it. The good news is that one held for so long that the runners were going slow there, so they could tag up if they could. Not able to get under the ball, unfortunately. Julie one-hopped it instead, but was able to make the play at second. And now Courtney, with a dinky ground ball, probably would have been safe had she not had a bad day. But we're able to get her out of first. 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Arlene Perez a hitter. This is a dangerous situation. A much better game for me on offense than opening week, but a much worse game on defense. Chucky, with only 6 strikeouts so far, has given up 2 runs and a lot of hits. Not good for his Ace Wilson chances. 0-2 the count now. One more strike and we're in the clear. Arlene swings early and we've done it. Got them out without any more damage being incurred. Alright. Final result then is Royals 5, Bombers 2, an improvement over our opening week performance. That'll be +4 with a multiplier. Unless, though, my defense was extremely good, I do think Repub will take this one. Stay tuned. I am going to post the result to the bot and find out the actual result right now here on stream. Alright, sending it to the bot result. S8, X2, G2. We are about to find out our fate one way or the other. Bombers scored a +14. Yep, this was not going to be a win for me in any case. Bombers on their end win 16-2, which means my experiment in drafting for defense evidently has failed. So overall matchup is 14-4 score. Comfort in this one is I had approximately 0 chance of ever winning this game anyway. GG to Repub, congrats. Let's take a look at the extra stuff on the file. Cardinals beat the Padres 1-0 in this practice file, a very small game there. Twins beat the Devil Rays in this one, I think they did in the original as well, although the Melonheads lost in a not-so-good portent. Alright, much more successful game at the plate where we got 14 hits compared to 2 in the previous game. Total of 15 people on base compared to 5 last time. Everyone got in on the action except Molly May, who did draw a walk, but otherwise continues to not have anything to show for it so far this season. Wing and Keisha both stand out as going 3 for 3. Player of the game, we'll see. And also notably, all 14 of my hits were singles, no extra base hits. Sandy flats plus a lack of really big hits plus solid outfield for the Bombers. Yep. All small ball here. So player of the game is going to have to be Keisha Phillips, 3 for 3, with 3 singles, 2 runs scored, and 1 RBI. Chucky Flinder unfortunately underperformed. He was boosted to 10 batting, but that seems to have been mostly contact as he only got 1 hit. That one a single he was somewhat lucky to get. I think it was a fielder's choice technically, actually. And he also had a much rougher game on the mound where he gave up 7 hits, 1 walk, 2 runs, only struck out 7. So we'll be hoping for a resurgence next week. And speaking of next week, we will be going back to the paved way to face off against the Junior Blue Jays. They only put up 5 runs in opening week, so there might be a shot for this one. We'll see. In any case, that is going to be our next matchup, so I will see you then. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody.